let's begin with the basic explanation of class trials, so your votes will determine the results. If you figure out who done it, then they will receive punishment. If you figure out one, they'll punish everyone besides the black kid, and the one who deceived everyone else will graduate. Now then, where to begin? We already know who did it. What? Deja vu. Deja vu. I just been in this place before. Higher on the street. Sorry. The one who killed Sakura is one of the people that hated her. Byakuya, Toko, or Hiro. It was one of you. Idiot. Baka. I had nothing to do with it. Like, yeah, I never killed someone. Like, no way, man. I don't want to hear any of your stupid excuses. Hina seems really sure that one of those three is the killer. But she must have some reason for believing that. It was one of you. One of you killed Sakura. And what reason do you have for saying so? Because you all had a motive. You all hated her. Is that it? That doesn't make any sense. Like, if that's the only reason you have... Sorry, you all visited her. Or at least one of you did. Another reason you suspect them is because Sakura wanted to meet with them, right? Yeah. And that was right before she died. And there's no doubt about it. One of those three killed her. I can't disagree with Hina. There's a good reason to suspect all three of them. Then does that mean one of them did it? Oh my god, right into another one. Holy shit. Oh, yep. We're gonna pull out Hiro. The fact that Sakura wanted to meet with all three of them. There's no way that's not suspicious. One of you is absolutely guilty. I don't deny that she wanted to meet with us, but I never went to see her. I didn't either. I never saw her, man. Sorry, Chikando. Hiro, when you were talking before, you dropped a small piece of paper, remember? It was had white and red polka dots. Oh, what's that got to do with anything, man? Red polka dots? That's got to be the wrapper from the candy I gave Sakura. No, it's ever since I got into the warehouse, I totally monopolized the entire box of candy. So there's no way a single one of them was left in the warehouse. In that case, Hiro, where did you get that piece of candy? From Sakura. That's the only explanation. Well, I mean, yeah, sure, I got it from her, but she gave it to me, like, forever ago. Doesn't have anything to do with what happened to her, man. When? When did she give it to you? The last time you saw Sakura was when Hina had to go to the nurse's office, right? You even said that, brother. Like, yeah, I must have got it, like, sometime before then, man. But what Hiro said can't be right. Because Sakura could only have gotten the candy after the incident in the nurse's office. And the reason I know is because when she got it, she loved candy too much. No, that's the real answer. Who doesn't? I'm just kidding. I'm not sure about that, Hiro. Hina didn't actually give Sakura the candy until after she left the nurse's office. So if that was the last time you saw her, there's no reason you should have had the candy. Damn it! I mean, what I meant was, oh, that's right. I did meet up with her in the rec room. Like, you got a problem with that, man? Why the sudden hostility? But we just talked, that's all. I didn't do anything. You gotta believe me, man. You're acting incredibly suspicious. You're acting incredibly suspicious, like zoinks. More hostility. It's just normal hostility. You're the real culprit. I even have proof, man. Huh? Proof? What are you talking about? I'm talking about her shining message, man. What would a shining message even be? At the scene of the crime, she had written out Toko in her own blood, right, man? It was her dying message, just like what you guys were talking about with Sayaka, man. That's true. I saw it for myself. See? Toko did it, man. Case closed. What are you saying? No way. I didn't do it. Like, you just don't get when you're good. You just don't know when you're beat, man, do ya? Hiro, hold on. When did you see that dying message of hers? Like, huh? Well, when we found Ogre's body, duh. But if I recall, Hinya was very adamant about keeping you away from the scene of the crime. So it's hard to believe that's when you actually saw the message for yourself. That's right! He wasn't allowed at the scene of the crime to investigate. Meaning, how is he supposed to also know about that? Unless he wrote it himself. Huh? Hold on. But when Kyoko found the magazine with the dying message in it, it was on the magazine shelf. Kyoko, you found the magazine on the magazine shelf, right? That's right. Looking through the shelf, I found the magazine with the dying message on it. I found it right where there at the scene of the crime. Also, how could it possibly have been a dying message if it was 20 feet away from Sakura? Also think about that. I honestly just now noticed that. It was back on the shelf. That's what we're like coming to conclusion right now. How could she have wrote a dying message if the dying message isn't even near her? Because obviously a dying message is you write it and then you die. You use the last ounce of your energy left in you to write a message. It's not a dying message. It's a deceiving message written by Hiro himself. If that's true, then what Hiro just said doesn't really make sense, does it? Like, does it make sense, man? What doesn't make sense? Everything I said makes perfect sense, man. No, there's an obvious problem with what Hiro said before. I found it tucked away on the magazine shelf. When I pulled it out, I saw her final words. Like, what's your problem, man? It makes total sense, man. How would you have known if you weren't allowed to investigate? No, there's definitely something wrong with what Hiro just said. Like, I could tell you exactly when I found it, man. Like, it was on Ogre's body when we discovered it. So you gotta know. When Sakura's body was found, the magazine was sitting on the shelf nearby. That's where Kyoko found it, after we'd begun the investigation. And you weren't at the murder scene, so there's no way you could have seen it then. Ah! Tell us the truth, Hiro. When did you see the message? Oh, hold on, you're focusing on the wrong part. Why does it matter when I saw it, man? All you gotta do is read the Vinny sausage ogre left us, and we know who the killer is. Toko, man. I don't even know where to begin with that one. He's trying to confuse us. Final strike. That's 100% of that he wrote it. All the talk about is that no truth. I don't know what he even said there. I was just trying to read it so fast. I'm completely unconvinced that Sakura wrote that dying message. Because if you look at it, the message was almost certainly written using a finger. But there was no blood on her fingers. Both of her hands were completely free of blood. Say what? I'm also just more worried that, like, again, the magazine was placed back on the magazine shelf. No one's gonna write a dying message, then put it away and hide it. You get my point? Like, if it's a dying message, why would you hide it? Like, it was hidden on the shelf, away, like 20 feet away from her. Then who did write it? He could have very well have written it himself. That would explain why he knew about the message in the first place. Yeah, that's exactly what happened, man. He admits it? I figured as much. But why would you write something like that? Because I killed her, man. You're admitting to killing her? Please, just let me explain what happened, man. I got Ogre's note, and so I headed to the rec room right before noon, just like it said, man. You just did exactly what the note asked. What a fool. And when I got there, man... Sorry, but do you mind waiting? I asked a couple of other people to meet as well. Like, okay, man. Would you like a piece of candy? It might help give you some energy. Oh, yeah, sure. Like, arigato, man. And that's when all she said. After that, we just stood around in awkward silence. And suddenly, I heard her mutter something. This is it. I'm going to end it today. I'm going to end everything. Like, as soon as I heard that, I just knew, man. I knew she was gonna try and kill me. She just offered you some candy, like she's gonna fucking murder you. Like she was gonna kill me and make her escape, man. So, like, of course I freaked out. And then... there's bottle number 1. I saw my only chance. I grabbed the Monokuma bottle from the shelf and smashed it across her head. I hit her from behind before she had an idea of what was happening, man. Then she just went limp. I didn't see her move again after that, man. Once it was over, I pulled myself together and realized if I didn't do something, I'd be caught and executed. So like, I wrote Toko's name in blood across the magazine on the table and I ran away, man. I used too much of my power on that blow and I killed her. I used 5% instead of 4. I can't believe you. You're the worst. I hope you die. Well, that's what happened. Go ahead, roast me, boil me, do whatever you want, man. You're not getting off that easy. It's death. Death for the one that killed Sakura. We're ready to vote now. We know who did it. No, I think there's more to Hiro's story. What are you talking about? What else could there be? There's one thing that Hiro's story just doesn't explain. Until we figure that part out, we can't consider the case closed. So, what it is that Hiro didn't make sense, why the magazine was hidden. That's true. Everything you just said, it doesn't explain why the magazine was hidden, does it? That's right. So he didn't actually initially hide it, so we can only assume that Toko was lying and she was there, probably hiding in the locker, pretending to be the boogeyman, and she saw that Hiro was trying to pin it on her, so she hid the magazine. Assuming he's telling the truth, someone else must have put the magazine back on the shelf. In other words, at least one other person was in the rec room, both before and after the incident. I don't think there's any question about that. Then who was it? If they went through the trouble of hiding the magazine, they must not have liked what was written on it. Someone who would not have liked that being written. It was definitely Kyoko. Man, I didn't like that message, Makoto. I'm sorry. It had to be Toko, right? Who else would want to hide a magazine other than the person whose name was written on it? He is right, Toko. Did you really go to the rec room? Why would I have? Wait, but more important, that doesn't even matter. We already know who did it, right? Hiro just admitted it. Like, that's right, man, I killed her. No, you didn't. Who asked you? I don't doubt Hiro attacked Sakura with the bottle, but that's not where this case ends. What do you mean? What he means is that Hiro isn't the killer. You can't be serious. That's just, I don't believe it. Hiro, tell us what happened one more time. If we get through this one more time, it should become clear he's not Sakura's killer. Like, so what do you want me to do, man? Just tell us what happened one more time when you attacked Sakura. Like, I don't really see why, but okay, man. I don't think she was hit only once, my guy. I think she was hit multiple times. Sorry, if Sakura died from Hiro's single blow, that doesn't explain why she had 2 head wounds. Like, huh? 2? That's right, she had 2 separate wounds on her head. And remember, this girl examines dead bodies as a hobby. Personally, I'm inclined to believe her. But like, I only hit her once, man. How could she have 2 head wounds? 2 wounds means she was struck twice. What's more, both attacks must have come from the Monokuma bottle. Hold on, how can you know that just from some cuts on her head? She was attacked twice with 2 Monokuma bottles? It's not just because of her head wounds, it's also because of the Monokuma bottles themselves. There's 2 missing. There's something very suspicious about those bottles. Once you understand that point, you'll understand why the 2 separate Monokuma bottles must have been used. The chess piece. That's it, the chess pieces. Inside each bottle, there was a Monokuma figure holding a different chess piece. King, rook, bishop, pawn. I definitely remember seeing each of those. So the queen was missing. Okay, I was right. So that is the king chess piece on the shelf. And the piece that was inside the broken bottle we found was the knight, if I remember. So, what's the matter? I guess you don't know too much about chess, do you? Then let me explain. Chess, there are 6 different pieces. The king, the queen, the rook, knight, bishop, and pawn. What was left intact at the scene of the crime were the king, rook, bishop, and pawn. Just those 4. And on the ground was the knight. Oh, so the queen is missing! So we only have evidence for 5 bottles at the scene, while 1 apparently went missing. What does chess have to do with anything? Like, yeah, shogi is like way better, man. Yeah, wait, no, that's not what I mean. So let's say the bottle did go missing. There's no evidence that has anything to do with this case. That bottle could have disappeared anytime before the murder. No, it's clear that that bottle, the missing bottle, is connected to this case. How is it clear? Think about the state the missing bottle must have been in. Maybe then you'll understand. Wait, then the bottle that was missing, it was broken, right? It was used to whack her Sakura a second time. The bottle must have been broken. That makes you so sure. Because there was evidence at the scene that supports it. Huh? That's right. We found evidence that shows there was more than just one broken bottle at the scene. And what is this evidence? It wasn't just a single broken bottle, and evidence that proves it was the scale experiment. Earlier, Kyoko and I did a little experiment. We compared the weight of the broken bottle pieces and the scene to one of the unbroken bottles. And what we found was that the collection of pieces was heavier. And the reason for that is there was actually more than one bottle's worth of shattered glass. From there, we can conclude that it wasn't Hiro who delivered the second blow. Wouldn't you agree, Toko? What? And there's the matter of the magazine. You must have been in the rec room when the incident took place. Wait, I admit, maybe there was a second attack, but there's no evidence I had anything to do with it. Like, no way, you killed her. I'm sure of it, man. Shut up. Until 2 seconds ago, you were claiming you killed her. I'm afraid to admit when I'm wrong, and that's just the kind of guy I am, man. Plus, I just remembered something that proves it. Okay, fine. Let's hear it. It was right after I got Ogre's note, man. I was like kind of nervous about it. So I went to the rec room earlier, you know, to stake out or whatever. So I was like waiting there, and that's when I saw her, man. I saw Toko go into the rec room, man. You did? Pretty soon, Ogre showed up and she went to the rec room, man. I assumed Toko was like still in there, so like I figured everything would be okay. That's why I headed in. But when I got inside, like Ogre was like all alone. And Toko had disappeared. And you just now decided to share that with us. Like after the shock of thinking I'd killed someone, I forgot all about it, man. Could someone tighten the screws on his brain? I think they've come loose. So, Toko, where the heck did you disappear to, man? She was the boogie woman in the closet. You don't know, I don't know what you're talking about. I never went into the rec room. I'm sure she did disappear, but maybe she found somewhere to hide. Nani? Final strike. Yeah, see? The locker hammer. Hiding in the rec room? Don't be ridiculous. Did you know someone left a handprint behind inside the locker? They must have been hiding in there and put their hand up against the wall without thinking. Does this handprint look familiar, Toko? No, it doesn't. Okay, then, let's just compare it to your hand, shall we? That'll clear everything up, right? Does. Stop wasting my time. Just tell us the truth. Okay, it's my handprint. Dang, she just straight up admitted it, man. Then you killed Sakura. No, I swear, there's no way. Out with it. I probably did kill her. Like, straight up again, man? Wait, what do you mean, probably? And this is where she's gonna come out. She doesn't remember because at the time she must have, like, saw the blood from Sakura earlier on that, like, switched into Genocide Jack personality, and then Genocide Jack did all this shit. It's gotta be, right? Give us the details, Toko. What happened between you and Sakura? Talk now. After I read Sakura's note, I decided to go there early, so I went into the rec room. I didn't know what she might do if I didn't go, but I was too scared to face her head on, so I figured if I sneak in first and hide in the locker. Like, then did you see what happened? Did you see me hit her, man? Yes, and I saw you write my name. I saw you forge her dying message. Like, well, that's awkward, man. So after he left, I jumped out of the locker and put the magazine back on the shelf. But when you did, you put it back upside down. I didn't mean to. I was in a hurry. Imbeciles, all of you. Forget all that. Why did you attack Sakura? After I put the magazine back, I heard a sound behind me, like a monster growling. And when I turned around... Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I guess that would be kind of creepy. There was Sakura covered in blood, and she's staring right at me. When I saw that blood, I fainted right there in front of the magazines. I don't remember what happened after that. If you want to know more, you'll have to ask her. Her? You mean... Achoo! Ha ha! Guess who's back? Like, it was your fault after all, man. My fault? Master's fault? When our faults combined, they soared to even greater heights. Just to answer the question, did you kill Sakura? Well, to be honest, Miss Morso and me didn't actually share our memories. So I can't really say what was going on. But I was just minding my own business, sleeping peacefully when someone shook me awake. Was it a prince paying me a visit? I wondered, so I opened my eyes to see. Splatter everywhere! I was not prepared for that. And well, I guess it took me by surprise. I got so startled I smacked her with the first thing I could find, which I guess was a bottle. Sakura was just worried about you, and you're terrible. No, she's terrible. Thanks to her, I murdered someone who was an adorable boy for the first time ever. And when this was all over, you collected the pieces of the bottle to get rid of the evidence, didn't you? I wasn't about to die for some woman. If I'm gonna go down, I want it to be for killing Master. Just go and die, you a meaningless death alone then. Don't drag me into it. But I can't just catch a break, you know? Fate's got it out for me. Because normally Sakura would have just been able to dodge my attack no problem. Even if as strong as she is, she must have still been reeling from Hiro's attack. Like, hey, come on, that's like, you know. But anyway, I'm not the one who killed Ogre, so like, that's good, man. So that's good? Keep talking like that and Hina's gonna... Well then, that's it. Let's start the vote. Huh? I thought for sure you'd have some words for Hiro on that one. What's wrong? Come on, everyone. We're ready to vote, right? Let's do this. No, not quite yet. Huh? Not yet? Why not yet? Don't you think there was something odd about Toko's story? I mean, you had to have noticed. Like odd? Huh? Hiro's attack and then Toko's, but that still wasn't the end of it. It wasn't? The main problem here is, if the second attack from Toko was really the killing blow, why was she just sitting in the chair? You got it! Smashed her up good! And where did you attack her? Where did the attack take place? Right where I woke up! I killed her right in front of the shelf! We found Sakura sitting upright in a chair. If the blow by the shelf was the cause of death, there's no explanation why she was in that chair. So, you finally noticed. That's just another lie from the bloodthirsty serial killer. Like, are you sure she didn't attack her while she was, like, sitting in the chair, man? No, I'm sure she was telling the truth. Anyone who saw the murder scene would think the same way. That has to be it. The evidence that proves there was an attack in front of the magazine shelf was the magazine shelf bloodstain. Sakura was definitely attacked in front of the shelf. The bloodstain by the magazine is proof of that. Like, then she must have moved the body after, like, she killed her, right, man? It made it look like that I did it, man. Because, like, when I hit her, she was sitting in the chair. Hey, come on now, look at me. I can't carry anything heavier than my own scissors. There's no way I could move a muscle-bound heavyweight like that. Like, then what's the deal, man? Well, are you still convinced the case has come to an end? But... Plus, the biggest mystery of all, the locked room, still has yet to be explained. Until we can take care of that, we can't say this case has been properly settled. Oh! That part's easy. After she killed Sakura, Toku just hid in a locker again. Like, huh? So she just hid in there till everyone showed up and opened the door, man. And while everything was all confused and hectic, she just, like, snuck out of the locker into the group, man. No, I don't think that's possible. The reason there's no way Toko was hiding in the locker is because I saw it for myself. Even before we opened the door to the rec room, he and I both got a look inside. And at that point, the locker was already open. So obviously, Toko couldn't have been hiding in there. Like, what was it that killed Ogre, man? If it wasn't, like, Genocide Jill's attack, then what was it, man? There's no other possible cause. What killed Sakura was the shot to her head. She vomited blood. Soichigando. According to the Monokuma file, Sakura had vomited blood. I think we can assume there's a chance this was still related to a cause of death. In fact, there was even a trace of blood left around her mouth. Well, I mean, maybe when she got hit from the bottle, it cut the inside of her mouth. If that's all it was, the file wouldn't have specified vomited blood. Not to mention, I didn't find any cuts inside her mouth. You even checked in there? God, you really are into dead bodies. No, not into dead bodies. What I'm into is solving mysteries. There's a big shelving unit in the chem lab that houses a variety of mixtures and chemicals. And that's where I found this. Is that like poison, man? It's not especially powerful poison, but it'll still kill you if you drink the entire bottle. But the specific properties don't matter. What does matter is where I found it. Like, where'd you find it, man? This shelf is divided up into 3 sections, A, B, and C. In Section A, dietary supplements. In B, reagents. And C, a variety of lethal chemicals. And that's where the poison came from! Section C! The bottle of poison Byakuya showed us, I'm sure I know where I got it. It was from Section A. The poison was actually in Section A, wasn't it? Like, huh? But like, did you just say that Section A was like for supplements or whatever, man? Strange, isn't it? Why would there be a bottle of poison mixed in with all those nutritional additives? Like, yeah, like, so why, man? Because the culprit switched it out. That's why. What do you mean? I mean this. I'm just going to kill myself now. I couldn't believe my eyes. Byakuya put the bottle of poison to his lips and... Huh? Master! We were so shocked at what we were seeing. All we could do is stand and watch. But as if the most natural thing in the world, Byakuya was as calm as ever. That tastes awful. Oh no! Master's in real trouble! You have to drink some water. You can't just swallow powder. It'll stick to your throat. Like, idiot, he just swallowed poison. You need to make him spit it out, man. The flavor certainly makes me want to spit it out. What's so high quality about this stuff? Like, huh? What are you talking about, man? I'm talking about the protein, of course. Protein? I can see that bottle for... Can I see that bottle for a second? Sure. Do whatever you like. Kyoko took the bottle from Byakuya and scrapped out a bit of the contents in one finger. She touched the finger to her tongue. It's protein powder. Huh? Correct. That wasn't poison in the bottle, but harmless protein powder. Which makes me wonder, the poison that should have been in the bottle, where did it go? The bottle of poison was actually filled with protein powder, which would mean that controversially, the poison must have been in, could it be? The protein drink! The protein drink. That wasn't Chemical X in there. The poison must have been poured into the protein can. If the protein's in the poison bottle, it seems only logical to assume the reverse is true, right? Absolutely. The contents of each container were switched. So the protein was in the poison bottle and the poison was in the protein can. Once you accept that, it becomes obvious how the culprit was able to get Sakura to drink the poison. Like, holy crap, man! And all they had to do was hand her something there at the scene, and she was happy to drink the poison herself. Something at the scene? Oh, we just deduced it was the pointing drink. You're saying they gave her the pointing drink, right? A protein drink which actually contained a deadly poison. Nani? That's all it took to kill Sakura. That is the true cause of death. Like, you know, I do remember Ogre saying that protein and stuff was like all good for all kinds of like aches and pains and stuff, man. So like maybe she took it to try and help with the whole like bleeding head wound thing. But what was offered her instead of a bottle full of poison. And I already know exactly who swapped the mixtures. Like, for real? Who was it, man? Evidence revealing who replaced the two materials was left in the chem lab for anyone to see. the evidence that shows who switched them, it has to be the footprints. Footprints in the powder. Blah! The footprints were left behind in the front of the shelf. That's the evidence you're talking about, isn't it? I visited the chem lab this morning, and there were definitely no footprints there at that point. They must have arrived around the time of the murder, which leaves no doubt that they're connected. What's more, the footprints were in the front of the Section A, where I found the bottle meant for the poison. The culprit must have gotten to Section A to swap the poison and protein, leaving their footprints behind. And given how clear the prints were, figuring out who it belonged to will pose no problem. All we have to do is check everyone's footprints right now. Then we'll see who... It was me. The footprints, they're mine. Hina? Dots. If you're all gonna find out anyway, I'd rather you hear it straight from me, you know. Then, like, Ogre's killer was... Yep. I did it! I killed Sakura! You know, you have been acting actually very suspicious this whole case. But I absolutely will not accept that you killed Sakura. There is absolutely no way, with how much you love Sakura, there's no way you would kill her. I don't think you did it. I think you're lying. I can't believe it. What can't you believe? Well, it's just the two of them were so close. That's exactly why it turned out this way. Because they were so close, Sakura didn't think twice about it when Hina handed her the concoction. Hina used that trust to kill her. She just... No, that's not Hina. Brother, that is not Hina. That is not what Hina is about. There's no way. I refuse to believe it. I actually refuse to believe that. There's no way. She deceived the victim. She tried to deceive all of us. I have to say, Hina, coming from you, this was a particularly nasty little scheme. Guys. Hina, is that true? Did you really kill Sakura? And if you did, why? Why would you do that? Guys. I found her there in the rec room. She was hurt. She asked me to bring her the protein drink. But when I went to get the powder from the chem lab, it just occurred to me all of a sudden. Now's my chance to kill her. That's what you thought, right? That's when you switched out the protein powder, and that's when you gave her the poison mixture. And then she downed it all at once. And then... Hold it. I'm not convinced. Yeah, I'm agreeing with Kyoko on this one. You're not about to claim that she wouldn't kill a close friend, are you? You still don't get it, do you? The game we're playing here isn't so kind. Honeyed words like friendship don't matter here. What matters is outwitting the opponent, defeating them. Not a person alive would sacrifice themselves for another. In the end, we're all in it for ourselves. Just like how this girl sacrificed Sakura to save herself. That's not... Hina is not the type of person that would have been moved to get out of here. She would have been moved to get out with her friends. She would not resort to killing someone to escape. That is what we're agreeing to. I don't believe she did it. And there's going to be evidence that fucking proves it. You say that, but I'm still not convinced. Surely you're not. Do you honestly think Hina didn't actually kill her? And if I do? Impossible. She switched out the mixtures. She is the culprit. There's no way you can there can be any doubt about this. Are you so sure about that? Even ignoring the fact that I don't want to believe it, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit? I mean, why would someone leave such a clear clue like a footprint? It's too obvious. Too easy. He's right. It makes it look like you wanted people to suspect you. I was just nervous, so I didn't notice I left a footprint. You didn't notice? Yeah, that's just how it was. What can I do? Dots. Listen, Hina, could you go into it a bit more detail? Tell us more about when you switched the poison and the protein. How come? That doesn't matter. Hina, please, I'd like to know too. Dots. Fine. Waste of your time like this. It's clear that Hina is the culprit. There's nobody else to suspect. Nobody else could have possibly done it. Go ahead, Hina. Start from the moment you arrived at the chem lab. Yeah, first I went to the section C. And that's when I grabbed the poison. And you spilled some of the powder on the ground in front of the shelf. Yeah, when I grabbed the bottle, I dropped it. Okay, and then? I moved from Section C to Section A. Chigando! You said you went to get the poison from Section C, and that's where you spilled the powder, right? Yeah, what about it? And after that, you said you moved from Section C to Section A to get the protein. But the footprints left at the scene were not moving from Section C to Section A. That contradicts what you just said. What? Like then maybe she moved some weird direction on purpose to disguise her movements, man. No, that can't be it. Remember what Hina just said? I was just so nervous. I didn't notice I'd left a footprint. What the? Hina, what's the meaning of this? Well, you lied to us, plain and simple. If you took the if you look at the footprints, your movements in the chem lab are obvious. The powder had already been spilled when you came in, and you went straight to Section A. So you never went to Section C. Whatever you did there, it only involved Section A. Oh, well, you see... Dots. What the hell? What's going on here? And the footprints aren't the only problem with her account. What? Before I explain that part, I'd like to submit some new evidence. New evidence? Impossible. There can't be. Are you sure? After all, you're the one who gave it to me. I did? It was hidden inside the bottle of poison you gave me. I'm amazed you of all people would miss such a vital clue. A truly grave oversight. Oh my god, we're catching him off guard! He doesn't know what to do! He truly believed it was Hina that killed her. He's fucked now. He doesn't know what the hell is going on. Looks like you fell out of your element, fuck boy! Just say it already. What do you think you found? I found this. Huh? A piece of glass? It had sunk to the bottom of the bottle. And the hidden clue was exposed thanks to you ingesting the powder. I couldn't have solved the mystery without you, so thank you for that. But what is this? Oh, you still don't realize? Well then, Makoto, why don't you explain it? Huh? Me? Dots. Fine, if you really do know, explain the meaning of that glass shard. The shard of light blue glass that Kyoko found in the bottle, it's from the rec room window that I broke. So no one else could have had access to that glass unless someone were to tamper with the scene of the crime while we were fucking discovering Sakura had already been dead. Hina lied to us the whole time. It's part of the window from the rec room door, right? The window? The window we broke to get in was light blue, just like that. So I think it must be it. You're right, it must be. Of course, that leads to another question. How did the shard of glass get from the window inside the bottle of poison? That's so what's so strange about it? What's strange about that, according to what Hina just told us, where the bottle of poison should have been when I broke the rec room window, according to what Hina told us, it should have been on the shelf where it was. The bottle of poison was left on the shelf in the chem lab. That was what you said, right, Hina? And yet somehow a piece of glass from the rec room window made its way into the bottle. Like then everything Hina told us was like a lie, man? In reality, the bottle of poison most definitely found its way into the rec room. It was there at least until the window got broken. In other words, when the locked room was unlocked. There's no other way to explain the presence of the glass in the bottle. And then, once the room was opened, the bottle somehow got moved back to the shelf in the chem lab. Meanwhile, the protein can we found in the crime scene was planted there. That had to be after the locked room was open. In other words, after Sakura died. Wait, hold on! You're moving too fast! I'll grant you, the bottle of poison may have well been from the rec room when it was locked. But how can you say the protein can was put there after the room had been unlocked? We already know she was given the protein can with the poison inside, right? If that can wasn't there when she died, how did she get poisoned? You're right. We need to explain that. When it comes to the protein can, there's not a doubt in my mind. Until the locked room was unlocked, it absolutely was not there. So like you're saying, man, someone planted it there after like we got the door open? No, that's impossible. It had to have been there the whole time. Because, oh god, it had to been there when the rec room was unlocked. Fuck, I don't know what he said there. Sorry, Chicago! You remember how the broken glass scattered around the room, right? Of course. It came from the window you broke to get in. What about it? Well, those pieces weren't just scattered around the protein can. We also found pieces underneath the can. Nani? And this proves it. It shows that the can must have been put down on the floor after the window was broken. So it had to be after we got into the room. I see. So that's your explanation, Kyoko, earlier when you asked if anyone had moved the can or tripped over it. If that were the case, that would explain the can being on top of the glass. So you asked everyone about it to eliminate that possibility right out of the gate. And that's what made everything clear, hasn't it? As long as it was a locked room, it only contained the bottle of poison and not the protein can. But once the room was open, they were switched, and as a result, the protein can wound up in the rec room, and the bottle of poison returned to the chem lab. God's sake. If that's true, then why did Sakura drink the poison? I thought we all agreed she was tricked into drinking it because of the protein can. No, that's not why. The only other explanation is she drank it from its original bottle, knowing exactly what it was. She killed herself. Precisely. She was alone in a locked room. All she had was the poison. What other possibility is there? You're saying she drank it, knowing what it was? Such a ridiculous fiction is exactly what happened. Tell us already. Sorry. Please, tell us. Before we get to that, we need to clarify one other thing. Damn, he even fucking apologized. Holy shit. He knows his place. See, Kyoko is queen. Hear me out. She knows. We bow down to Kyoko's toes. It's as simple as that. Here in Danganronpa, we bow down to Kyoko's toes. We need to establish who exactly got the poison from the chem lab and took it to the rec room. Like, it was Hina, right, man? Like, she took it and gave it to Ogre, man. What do you think, Makoto? The one who got the poison from the chem lab and brought it to the rec room, it had to have been Sakura. She tipped the glass over. I think it was Sakura herself. Huh? So Sakura, who had apparently murdered, just poisoned herself? What are you talking about? There's no way. On the contrary, we know for a fact she went to the chem lab, right to the section full of poisons. You're lying. Stop lying. Why? Why would you lie like that? Why would you lie, Hina? You've been lying this whole time. No, it's not a lie. Sakura definitely went to Section C. I have to get Hina to admit that. Oh, please, for the love of God, no, not another one. I'm tired of these. Do you have any kind of proof Sakura took the poison? She spilled it because the powder was on top of her shoe. Hina, did you know that Sakura's foot had a certain yellow powder stuck to it? I did. I did? It did. The same yellow powder that had been spilled by the shelf of the chem lab. That powder was yellow, wasn't it? So the powder we found on Sakura, what else could it be but from the powder from the chem lab? Like, wait, so the powder... what was the powder doing on Ogre's foot, man? And it was only on her instep, right? Sakura must have been standing right there where the powder was spilled. So the person who spilled the powder on the shelf wasn't Hina, but Sakura. The only explanation is that she was looking for a poison. After all, that's all that section contained. No, it was me. The poison. Because I killed her. No, you didn't kill her. The one that killed Sakura. The connection between Sakura and the poison. The unsolved mystery of the locked room. There's only one way to explain it. She killed herself! The one who killed Sakura was Sakura herself. What? The killer was Sakura? Like, wait, so you're saying, like, it was suicide, man? Like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it any more than I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I can't believe it either, or rather, I don't want to believe it. But when you really think about it, everything matches up. Sakura went in and got the poison. She barricaded herself in the room, and she drank it. So she could end her own life. And that explains why we couldn't solve the mystery of the locked room. Because, of course, She wanted to create it, right? No, yeah, she wanted to create the locker room. The locker room mystery was created by Sakura. I'm sure she locked it herself in so that nobody could stop her from doing what she did. She sat there, drank the poison, and breathed her last breath. And the empty bottle of poison rolled around the locked room until we came and opened it. At that point, someone grabbed the bottle. I can see Byakuyo's like silhouette. He's still freaked out about everything. The bottle and snuck it out of the room. And that was you, wasn't it, Hina? You did it to throw off the investigation, didn't you? You're saying Hina consciously deceived us to make it look like she killed Sakura? Guys. No. No, 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 no! I killed her! I did it! That's enough, Hina. It's over. It's not! Nothing's over! It is! Actually, no. You're right. We have to end this properly. Okay, I think I'm right. If I fuck this one up, I apologize, because like there's very similar like scenes that I could have like fucked up, but I hope I didn't fuck up. But here we go. This case began with Sakura when Sakura asked a number of people to meet with her in the rec room. Specifically, those people were Hiro, Toko, and Byakuya. One of them headed out a bit earlier than the others, Toko. She got there one step ahead of everyone else and looked around for a good hiding spot. And she found it. She crawled into the locker to get out of sight. Then, from inside the locker, she saw Sakura enter the room. Next to arrive was Hiro. When he got there, he mistakenly thought Sakura was going to try and kill him, so he panicked. Without thinking, he grabbed a nearby Monokuma bottle and attacked Sakura with it. Thinking he'd kill her, he hastily began covering up the crime. He took a magazine from the table and forged a dying message from Sakura. To the end, he wrote down a name. Toko. By writing her name, he was hoping to pin the murder on her. But of course, Toko had witnessed the whole thing, so as soon as the coast was clear, she jumped out of the locker and hid the magazine on the shelf with all the others. But in her rush, she made one little mistake. She put the magazine back upside down. Soon after, she watched as Sakura slowly opened up her eyes. She also saw the blood dripping from Sakura's head and fainted. This caused her personality to switch back over to Genocide Jet. When she woke back up, her second personality also saw the blood-soaked Sakura, and she freaked out. And just like Hiro, she grabbed another Monokuma bottle and attacked her. This explains why there were 2 head wounds on Sakura's head. Assuming Sakura really was dead this time, she set up about disposing of the evidence. She gathered up the broken Monokuma bottle shards and the queen chess piece. And that explains how Sakura was attacked twice with the same type of weapon. But even after those 2 blows, she was still alive. So then, what was Sakura's actual cause of death? It was the poison that Sakura herself got from the chem lab. She turned the rec room into a true locked room scenario and then drank the deadly mixture. And there, she took her final breath. Later on, the rest of us discovered that her body was in there. We had to smash the door's window to get inside. But someone already knew what had happened, knew that she had committed suicide. And that same someone quietly snatched the bottle of poison from off the ground. And while nobody was looking, replaced it with the empty protein can. They did this all specifically to place all the suspicion on themselves, in an attempt to guide the trial to a false conclusion. And the one who went through all that effort was you, Hina. Complete! That's the full truth of this case. Sakura took her own life, and you claim to be the killer to hide that fact. Isn't that right? That's what happened. But Makoto, how did you manage to? How were you able to uncover the truth that even I couldn't discern? Because you don't take people's feelings into consideration. Kyoko said it would bite you in the ass one day, and it just did. Brah! Fuck you, Byakuya. Suck my goddamn toes. Maybe you should learn to fucking treat others with respect a little. Huh? Oh, well, I mean, you still haven't realized? We don't all act according to calculations and cost-benefit diagrams. That's what makes us so complicated. That's what you don't understand, and that's why you couldn't solve this case. See, didn't I tell you? When you dismiss other people's feelings, it'll always come back to bite you in the end. Dots. Fuck you. Get played, scrub. Maybe you should learn to like people. Alrighty then, my weeaboos. That's gonna do it for that one. I'm leaving out sort of like the trial verdict because, especially with like this trial and upcoming trials, there's just a lot more backstory to it. Versus then just like them being like, oh, I did it because I was jealous, so blah blah blah, I did it because I wanted to get out. So like the whole plot where I was saying like most of the deaths now are just gonna be like for the story. I kid you not, there's like 40 more minutes of like shit that's like exposition that's beyond this chapter that they like continually talk about. So like I'm just gonna honestly save that for another episode and just keep the nice intense part of the trial collapsed into one. So I know that kind of adds a whole nother episode. I'm already like what, 20 in now, so I kind of apologize about that, but I don't want to exceed an hour because at that point I'm practically streaming and I'm not about the streamer life. I'm more about the like condensed make video life. So yeah, you know, you probably end up seeing me if I play like some big name game. You're gonna see me hit the hundreds in episodes probably. So I like to maintain the hour episode. But I still hope you all enjoyed that one, and I hope to see y'all in the next one.